thank you for joining me on my channel today. We just got back from our trip on the Disney Wish, leaving from Port Canaveral, going to Castaway Cay. And this is my quick review of the ship and our trip. So let's get started.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Okay, so day one was embarkation day. They picked us up from the lobby at Port Orleans Riverside at 9:15 a.m. and we drove to the port. That arrived at about 10:35, 10:40, and our boarding group was number 8, and we ended up getting on the boat at 12:10, even though our boarding group was scheduled 11:30 to 11:45. The room was ready at 2 p.m. and all of our luggage was already there at the room by the time we got there. And again, we made reservations or tried to make a reservation request for Palo Brunch at 1 o'clock over there at Luna. That's where they were doing the reservation requests. We did not end up getting our request granted though. We were on the Halloween on the High Seas cruise, so everything was Halloween themed. And we went to the Wishing Star Cafe, which is located on deck 4 midship, which is just up the stairs there. After you get on deck 3, you just go up the stairs and there you are at the Wishing Star Cafe. I ordered the Speculoos latte. I also had a toasted marshmallow and I think it was like a dark forest latte, something like that. Then we headed over to the open tour for the kids club. And again, that's when the adults can go in with the kids. You can't just drop them off at this point. You get them checked in and, get them registered, go look at all of the goodies that are inside, check out the Marvel area, the Star Wars area, the arts and crafts areas and all that jazz. And you can see there's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to play with, kind of get an idea of what your kids are going to be doing in there. My 5-year-old was wanting to be in there pretty much all the time, although about an hour was her limit when she wanted to come out. So I think, you can only really entertain yourself for a certain amount of time. So for older kids, I feel like there isn't as much to do for older kids. I would say maybe over the age of 8 when they outgrow crafts. If they're not really into crafts, maybe they might not have as much fun time, because my daughter came out with crafts every single time she went in there. So it was really a lot of fun for her and she wanted to go back, and now she has enough crafts to make a whole book. So definitely just keep that in mind. So the 3-year-olds, they can go in both the kids club and the nursery. The nursery, again, is if you have reservations with the nursery, you can go there, or you can request last minute and they may be able to take you as well, which we did a lot. Every single day we requested a last minute nursery stay and they didn't have any problems accommodating us. We also dropped off our 3-year-old at the kids club a few times. 45 minutes to an hour or so was pretty much the limit my 3-year-old wanted to be there. So they sent a request over the Disney app for us to come pick them up when they were ready. They just said, Grayson is ready to be picked up on the app, and you get a notification, and then you'd head over whenever you could to get there and pick them up. The nursery they have more one-on-one time with the kids, so they were able to really entertain them for long periods of time. If the kids were upset for any reason, then they would let us know, hey, Grayson is upset. We are trying to calm him now. Thank you. That's all it would say. It's not a chat or anything. It's just a little notification. In the little chat, it's, like a notification thing. You can't respond. But if you feel like it, you can go check on them. By the time we ended up checking on Grayson each time, he was already calmed down. I think they just want to let you know that they're upset in case you feel like you need to come get them. But you certainly can just wait until it's your time to pick them up, unless they send you a different type of notification, like they need to be picked up immediately, something like that. But we never received anything like that. So now I took a little bit of video here of our room so you can see what our room looked like. We were on deck 7, and that was a Cinderella themed floor for the most part. We had Cinderella carriages for our fish hook on the outside of the door, and the light fixtures on the hallways were Cinderella carriages and horses and things like that. And behind our headboard was a Frozen themed headboard, and I read that every other room was either Frozen or Cinderella on deck 7. We had room 7630, And that was an excellent side of the ship to be on because you could see the fireworks show from that side, a beautiful view of both ports. And generally, I think that is the side of the ship that you want to be on. So let me show you now what the room looked like. So let me see if I can get this to focus. Ah, here we go. So this is our room. So first thing over here, we have a beautiful toilet room. This is just the toilet room. There's no shower over here. They even have a Sharps container. I thought that was really cool. Close that up. And over here, they have a full shower with a bathtub and lots of places to put your makeup or toothbrushes. And let's see, which way does this go? Lots of spaces to put clothes and shoes and luggage, which Grayson already put his. And one spot over here too for luggage. Over here. All right, and then we have lots of little, what do you call those, shelves down here. A really nice TV, look at that quality. And then we've got the bed and lots of spots here to plug in things.
Oh.
Yeah, baby. Oh yeah, what'd you find? And another spot here, chargers, charging spaces, lights. What a cute little backdrop here. We've got Frozen in our room. Each room has something different. We're on the Cinderella floor too, so our whole floor is Cinderella themed. This is the vanity and sort of desk area with a little chair. And over here we've got, oops, a little refrigerator and a drawer, which Grayson put all of his goodies in there. And this is if you had a shared room, there's a door there, so you can share 2 rooms together. And then over here is where the bunk beds are gonna come down. So the porter, the room porter, he'll bring that down when we're ready. And I believe this one is the bottom bunk. And we have a full-length mirror, which is always nice. And then a chair and a little table, which is great for eating or drawing. And of course we have a veranda, and there's a way to keep the kids inside, which is always nice. And let's see if I can even figure out how to open this door. Here we go. And we haven't left the port yet. We're leaving in about 20 minutes, but we got a nice big spacious veranda. Now this here is our fish extender. If you've been on a Disney cruise before, you may already know about fish extenders, but it's just a little extra thing that you can do where you join a group on Facebook, and it's specific for the dates of your cruise and the ship that you're gonna be on. This is not a Disney hosted thing. This is just by guests. So somebody volunteers to be an admin of this group and gets all of the groups together for fish extenders. Now we went and stopped by Joyful Sweets and saw all of the goodies they had there, gelato and things you could buy for an extra additional cost there. We only went there once and it was fun, but there's plenty of treats for free. Then we checked out our beautiful view, and then we had our first seating for the dinner service at 5:45 at 1923. That was definitely our favorite restaurant. We liked the food the best, the ambiance the best. There was no show there, but it was more, I feel like the tables were a little more spaced out. It felt a little more private, and the service was really good and the food was delicious. And all the extra touches I felt were really nice. So even though there wasn't a show, we really enjoyed dining there at 1923. And I would definitely recommend the early dinner service if you don't like to wait, because there was a lot of waiting after we got out of dinner service for the later times. So the 7:45 dinner did have a very long line. I'm not sure how long it took for them to get through it, but when we went for the 5:45, there was no waiting, no line, always just walking straight to our table. So that's something to think about. And also depends on when you eat dinner. So then when we got back to our room, we did find some goodies in our fish extender that first night, and we got our little cups and everything. So I definitely highly recommend doing that. The kids loved it.
Oh, there's some monster trucks.
Wow.
Can you take this stuff inside too? Thank you. Good job. Say thank you. Good job, buddy. The sail away party was at 4:30, and that was a lot of fun too. And I definitely highly recommend checking out these little parties. They're usually only about a half an hour long on deck 11 by the pools. After dinner, we came back to our room at about 7 o'clock and the bunk beds were already ready. So in our veranda room, the bed setup was one queen bed and then a couch, but the couch turned into a bed, and also there was a pull down from the ceiling that was also a top bunk with a rail on it. My 5-year-old did perfect doing that. The ladder is a little bit steep, so just keep that in mind. I wouldn't have trusted my 3-year-old to be on the top bunk, but he did just fine on the bottom bunk, and he normally sleeps in a crib, so I was surprised that he actually stayed in bed. On day 2, we stayed on the ship. That was Nassau Day. This was a 4-night, 5-day cruise, so day 2 was Nassau. We did not get off. We wanted to just check out the ship instead of getting off the ship and going ashore. We had a reservation at the nursery that morning, but walking over to the nursery, we saw that Mickey's little boat play area was open for adults to go in with their kids as well. They called it toddler time, so that was fun. So we stopped in there and my son got to play with all of those things with us, do a few crafts with us before we dropped him off at the nursery. Sometimes that Mickey's boat area is open to the kids club only, and then sometimes they close it off to the kids club and do the nursery only. It's not open to both at any time. It's either one or the other. So sometimes they said, oh, we'll open it to the nursery at 12:30. So if that's something that you feel like will keep your child entertained more, or if you don't want them to be playing on that, you can check to see when it's open and kind of plan around that if that's something that you'd like to do. On Nassau Day, that was the only day that they offered the inflatable obstacle course race in the Hero Zone. So if that is something that you saw and you're looking to do, definitely look at what day that's going to be, because if you got off the boat that day, you probably would have missed it entirely. And that was a really fun little activity. We only did a couple of races before leaving, but as soon as they opened it, as soon as it was ready, we went in there and it was about a 10 to 15 minute wait. Definitely check it out though if that's something you want to look at. It was really fun. After that, we went to the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge and there was no waiting. You don't have to make reservations for it anymore. There was nobody in there pretty much the entire time that we were there. We only ever saw like maybe one other, group in there or a couple. And it was never crowded. Then we had Marvel dinner at 5:45 that night, and that was very fun. We love Marvel though, so we're kind of obsessed with Marvel. If you don't absolutely love Marvel, it may not be great for you. It's very overstimulating thing though. Lots of lights, lots of TV, clips of shows and movies from Marvel, from the MCU. So if you love Marvel though, I think you'll really appreciate this. My kids love it, so they really enjoyed the show. It's Ant-Man and Wasp, which is interesting that they picked those characters, but they're very likable and funny, so I get it. It was a fun show to watch, and the character meet and greets though were non-existent. I don't know if they actually talked to the table really at any point, but they did walk by, and they did a little presentation at the end of large donuts and cookies, and that was fun. The food there though was really delicious, although some of the things were overcooked. So maybe it was just an off night, but we did really enjoy the ambiance and it was pretty fun. Definitely if you like Marvel, you're gonna enjoy this. We had our second night there as well too. That was also the night that they did the Halloween costume dress up and sort of a Halloween party. We went up on the deck to check that out. I think it was at 7:45 that night, and we grabbed a little goodie bag. They don't actually go trick-or-treating. They just have goodie bags at the front on deck 11 before you get in to watch the show. Little goodie bags full of candy, and it was plenty of candy for my kids, and they really enjoyed that. This is also the day that we did the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique makeover. My daughter just brought her Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique dress from home that we got at Disneyland. So I just put that in her luggage and then she wore that to the appointment. We did the $100 package, which included a little backpack with a sash, some makeup, little gems that they put on their face, and the hairstyle that they get to select. My daughter did unicorn hair, so they did like a slick back ponytail with colorful hair and flowers on top, and it was really cute. My daughter absolutely loved it. It was only about a 15-minute appointment. After the Halloween party, we dropped off the kids at the kids club, and the nursery was also able to take our 3-year-old last minute, and we dropped them off, and then we went over to the Nightingales piano bar. And this is a very relaxing bar. They have the pianist playing there, and they played music from Disney movies. It was mostly villain themes and stuff that he was playing, which was really fun because it was the Halloween on the High Seas. And it was a beautiful setting. The drinks were okay. They were really fun. I enjoyed breaking the ice on my, my ice ball, but they weren't my favorite drinks out of the ones we tried. But again, we only tried 2. So definitely go in there and check that out. They have a lot of fun things in there. There's my drink in there. The third day was Castaway Cay Day, and that was one of the ones we were really looking forward to. We had a beautiful view of the island and the ocean from our stateroom 7630, and it was just gorgeous, breathtaking. We went ashore at about 9 o'clock. We wanted to get ashore before the sun really started beating down and getting too hot, and it was perfect because we got off the ship in a matter of minutes and headed down to look at all of the picture spots. We walked instead of taking the tram. They do have a little tram, so if you don't want to walk, it's only like a 5-minute walk though. It was super easy, very fast. Welcome, Castaway Cay.
Welcome, Castaway Cay, Mama.
Welcome. Very quick over to where the family beach is. So I recommend walking because you could see the sights and stop at all of the picture spots. They had a lot of picture spots on the way and a few character meet and greets as well. So in my opinion, it's better to walk if you like your pictures, but again, if you don't want to walk, that's totally up to you. You can grab that little tram. When we got there on the beach, it was probably 9:15. There were plenty of shaded chairs there on the beach that we saw, so we didn't have any trouble getting a spot to play on the family beach. After we dropped the kids off at the kids club, we went and checked out the bars that were right across from the kids club, and there was a really awesome bartender that we had on the ship. His name is Dr. Curtis. They had really great drinks at the bars, excellent bartenders. Definitely highly recommend giving that a try. They're very personable, very nice, and if you like to drink, they do have a lot of options. Hey, by Dr. Curtis. Oh, that's good. After that, we headed over to the barbecue and endless ice cream. That started at 11:30. So if you are eager to eat, you just have to know that you'll have to wait till 11:30 to eat lunch. As soon as they opened, we beelined it over there, got our lunch. It was really delicious, and sat at the little picnic tables there. We didn't have any trouble finding a spot. It was completely empty because they had just opened. Then we had some endless ice cream, of course, afterwards. They also had a few little shops there, and they were really cute to check out. A lot of little souvenirs that weren't on the ship were there at the shops. So definitely check that out if you want to get something specific or unique. They also had smoothies that were in a souvenir Olaf or Sven drink cup. So again, that was one of those things that people were collecting. We did get a smoothie and an Olaf, and we loved it. Took that one home with us. And then we also checked out the slide at the other side of the beach. The slide is really fast, and my daughter was just tall enough to go over there, but she didn't really like it too much, very fast, and quite a big drop for a little kid at the end. And of course, it's salt water, so that wasn't too fun to get that in her mouth. But it was worth trying. It was fun. I think bigger kids and adults would really like that slide. All guests had to be aboard by 4:45 after getting off the island there. After we got on the ship after Castaway Cay, there was another open tour to all at the kids club, including the adults that could go in and check it out. So we did that, kind of hung out there until they reopened the club at 4 p.m. for checking kids in. On Castaway Cay Day, they have kids club at Castaway Cay, not on the ship. So if you wanted to drop off your kids, it would have to be on the island and, you know, obviously not on the boat at that time. After we dropped off the kids at the kids club, we went and checked out the bayou, and they had a really nice ambiance there. Very relaxing, very pretty, and the drinks were really delicious. Excellent service by the bartenders too. And we did get some beignets, which were delicious. It was pirate night, so we had to go to our repeat restaurant, which is fine. We had Marvel for the second night, but they did have a special menu, which was pirate themed. So all the food was pirate themed and the desserts were pirate themed. And the kids got a special little hat that also had a menu on it and everything in a coloring activity. So that was fun. The pirate dance party at 7:45 that night on deck 11 was really fun. It had a little performance where the kids could dance along and you learned how to be a pirate. And Captain Hook came out, and I highly recommend doing that one. They did not hand out anything for free. There was no shirt or sash or anything that you get for going to that party as far as I could see and as far as I heard. It was still really fun though. Definitely go check out that party if you want some entertainment that night. Again, it was at 7:45. Then they had a fireworks show and another performance at 10:15 to 10:45. We were able to see the fireworks from our veranda at that time because my kids, they cannot hang late at night. So we were able to stay up and see the fireworks from our veranda and then go to bed. Highly recommend checking out that show though. And a little fun fact, the fireworks, when they dissipate and go into the water, it's actually fish food. So the fish can actually get fed from whatever falls after the fireworks go off. So that was really interesting to know. I like that little fun fact. So when we got back to our room after dinner, we did also have a little bit of treasure for us in our fish extender. So again, I would check that out. It's really fun. On day 4, we had breakfast at Marceline Market, and they are open for breakfast from 9 to 11. After that, we had a reservation at 9:45 for the Royal Gathering. Now, this sells out really fast, within minutes, and you would do that on the Disney app when it becomes available. I believe it was about 30 days before. So like for ours, it was available September 23rd for our sailing on October 24th. And again, it was gone in minutes. So we were able to snag a time for that at 9:45. Highly recommend that. My daughter wore her princess dress. We waited in a line for about 10-15 minutes, and then she was able to meet all 4 princesses that were there. There was Rapunzel, and after that Tiana, then Cinderella, and finally Moana, which is my daughter's favorite. So it just depends. It may differ, the princesses that are on your cruise. Then we had our Arendelle night for dinner, again at 5:45. We did not have the best view of the stage, so that was unfortunate. I do feel like maybe they crammed in too many tables, and the characters had a hard time coming around and saying hi, but we did end up getting to talk to Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff, so that was nice, but Olaf was too big and he could not get around to any of the tables, so he didn't visit any of the tables, and my daughter was a little sad about that. So just be ready and prepared for something like that. And the show was incredible. Even though we couldn't see it very well, the live music and the singing was amazing. Highly recommend checking that out. And the food was so delicious. Definitely one of our favorite restaurants out of the 3 for food quality and drink quality. And then we came back to the room to see there were more goodies in our fish extender. So lots of fun with that. Then we headed to deck 11 to watch some football on the big screen. And they have late night pizza there as well because it was after 10 p.m. And that was the only thing open was pizza, which was perfect. And we enjoyed a night of just kind of staying up late and enjoying the last few minutes of that. And that day we also did go on the AquaMouse, which they don't allow filming, they don't allow cell phones on AquaMouse. So I wasn't able to get any content for you of that, but it was for us a one and done thing. My son wasn't tall enough, but my daughter was, and it was a long wait, about 30 minutes for us. It was like a Mickey Mouse cartoon, and they spray you with water on your way up, and then you go pretty fast down this crazy dark slide that then opens up to where you can see, and then you get very wet. So my daughter thought it was a little bit too fast. So just keep that in mind. It was a one and done thing for us, but some older kids I think would really like it, or kids that like fast rides, they would really like it. So be prepared for that. It was fun though. I think I would probably go again if the kids weren't in tow that day. So on deck 14, Chippendale was our favorite pool. It was more quiet. It wasn't as heated though. It was a little cooler of a pool, and it was only 2 feet deep. So it was perfect for kids. They also had a little like 2 or 3 inch deep waterfall connection over there, so you could kind of sit there with your kids. And kids have to be potty trained, and there are no diapers or swim diapers or anything allowed in the pools, so keep that in mind. But it was perfect for my 3- and 5-year-old, which are both potty trained, and that was definitely our favorite pool by far. There was like 10 people on that entire deck. I feel like nobody knew about it. Very quiet. It's right above the concierge pool, so it was pretty quiet, relaxing. There were 2 restrooms right there next to the pool, and you could always walk your food up there too. perfect. I highly recommend checking out the Chippendale pool if you want something that's less crowded. On disembarkation day, on day 5, that was our assigned breakfast at Arendelle, and that started at 7:05 a.m. You had to have your bags with their luggage tags on outside the door by 10:30 p.m. the night before you disembark. We already had everything all packed and ready to go. They asked that you bring all of your bags to breakfast as well. It didn't seem like very many people got there at 7:05, or we got there I think at like 7:30, and there wasn't very many people there. There was no line. We walked straight in, sat at our assigned table, and had a sort of lackluster breakfast. I ordered a Belgian waffle, which I'd had on the first day, and it came out as an Eggo waffle on this day. So just to give you a picture of how that goes. But we left breakfast at close to 8 o'clock or so, and the line was insane all the way back through the hallway. And when you get there, you'll see this hallway is really long. The line was all the way back. So keep that in mind. If you want to eat, you know, relatively quickly, if you're pretty hungry in the morning or you need your coffee, probably get there close to 7:05 if you want to sit right away, because the line was really long and it did seem to be going a little bit slower that morning. So just keep that in mind. We disembarked by 8:15. It was really super fast and easy because we did go to breakfast early. We did end up going to a hotel that day to stay that night, so that way we weren't super tired. But if you want to make it to your airplane, I just recommend getting to breakfast super early as soon as they open, so you can get off the ship and then make your way to the Disney Cruise Line bus, which is super fast and easy, very organized. They'll ask you where you're going. They say, okay, go here to that bus. Get all your luggage and everything put on there. Super fast and easy. Your luggage is taken to a specific character and color. So we had Daisy Gray. So we found Daisy Gray sign when we went through to customs, because you do have to go collect your baggage and then wait in the line to customs, which was about 10 to 15 minutes through the line. And then they just ask you the regular questions like, do you have anything to declare and whatnot? And check your citizenship, you know, your passport and things like that, whatever you brought. So they check that, and then once you're checked, then you get to go out to the bus, get on the bus, and it takes you either to the airport or wherever it is that you're headed for the day. So anyway, that's it. That's my review of the Disney Wish. I feel like it was worth every penny. The people in concierge said they also had some extra things like breakfast sandwiches in the morning, and they also had extra transportation on Castaway Cay that I noticed, and they were definitely waited on hand and foot, although we did not get concierge. We just had a regular room, a veranda room, and we loved it. Worth every penny. Definitely the best family vacation we've ever been on. And you can see behind me, I have some of the fish extender gifts. This is made out of wood. I mean, people really spent a lot of time giving little pixie dust gifts or fish extender gifts. That was probably one of the highlights of the whole cruise, was just the camaraderie and the friendliness of the fellow passengers. We had an excellent group cruising with us. Everyone was really nice. Couple extra notes. It's not a buffet style on the Wish currently. They don't have you serve yourself. You just walk up and you say, oh, I'd like a cheeseburger. I want fries. I want this. I want that. And so you just tell them, and they really quickly throw it on a plate and hand it to you. Actually much faster than having people serve themselves. So I actually like that. So it's like that at Festival Foods by the pool and at Marceline Market. So again, you just walk up, they have a quick little menu with a few things if you don't know exactly what things are called. You just tell them what you want and they hand it to you. It's super easy. You will serve yourself at the drink station, but the ice cream is also served to you, the soft serve. You just walk up to that separate soft serve counter and they give you the cone. If you need a soft serve in a cup, you go grab a cup from the drink station and bring it with you, and then they can put it in there for you, and that's fine. So a couple of extra things I want to talk about is the nursery and the kids club. So nursery hours can be booked up to 10 hours in advance on the Disney app. You will go to the Disney app and look at My Plans, and then it should say nursery, and there you can select how many hours and what day, what time, and all of that jazz. Once you get on board, that's when you can select more hours, pretty much up to infinite hours. And they're open, you know, a long period of time during the day, early morning to late at night. So that is definitely a must. You can adjust your times once you get on board too. So you can, let's say you have a reservation for the nursery at 11:30, you can go to the nursery and change it to 9:30 if they have space. So Keep in mind though, the last day, the day at sea, any of the times that you're not at port, those days tend to be a little bit busier. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for nursery time. I didn't have any times where they turned me away. The day at sea, we did have quite a bit of kids in the nursery, and they had to ask extra cast members and managers to help, but they still didn't turn me away. So I'm not sure if they do turn people away or not. The Kids Club had some times where they were closed. On Castaway Cay Day, the Kids Club was closed on the ship, and they had the Kids Club open over there on the island. So just keep that in mind. So if you're on the ship that day and you're not getting off for whatever reason, you won't have a place for your kids to play, you know, supervised. If you are getting off the ship at Castaway Cay, you can check your kids into that Kids Club. It is much smaller, a lot less entertainment, but I will say that my 3-year-old had a lot more fun at the one on the island because they had plastic toddler equipment that they could play on, like slides and climbing equipment like that for toddlers, and a lot of sand and sand toys. So my 3-year-old loved that, but my 5-year-old got a little bit bored. They had a small splash pad in there, and it just, I guess, wasn't a whole lot of fun. So she called us after about 45 minutes in that Kids Club. The photo package is a must, I must say. You have a ton of opportunities to take pictures. They'll take pictures at the character meet and greets. They have backdrops, a bunch of them set up on the main deck, deck 3. So every single day and night, you should just check to see where the photographers are. And I mean, they're all over the place. So having that package already paid for in advance, which you can do again on the Disney app ahead of time, that was totally worth it. Because then you can get on the website and download your pictures while you're there on the ship, or you'll have to wait until 48 hours after you disembark from the ship to get back on that website and download everything. That's when everything will be available at that point. So you should probably just wait to download them, but having that package already purchased really made things a lot smoother. Also, really briefly, I want to talk about the app. If you've already been on a Disney cruise and you already know about the app, you can just skip this part. But for people that have not been on a Disney cruise before, I wanted to share my thoughts on the Disney Cruise Line app. First of all, the app before you get on the ship has a lot of really great ways to add plans to your day, but the magic really happens when you get on board. That's when you're going to connect to the Wi-Fi that's on the cruise ship, and you'll be able to see all of the plans for the following nights. And as you can see here, you can see what plans are coming up for that evening and for the next days as well, and look at the activities that are currently going on board, or anything that you've currently booked, like nursery time, spa services. And you can also see the drink of the day, what may be going on at the spa, any photography questions, and you can also secure your 10% off with your placeholder and look at all kinds of little details there on the app. So I definitely recommend looking at the app a lot more in detail once you're on board, because I honestly did not really look at it in too much detail until one of the last days we were there. And I wish I would have done so, because I did miss a few of the activities I didn't realize were going on. And so I recommend definitely getting on board and just seeing what they have to offer. In addition to your plans, you can also go over to the Explore part of the app. And this is the part I really wish I would have looked at more, because you can go to the daily activities and see exactly what time characters may be at certain places, what kind of activities are going on around the ship. Like at the Bayou, they had some crafts that my kids would have really liked, and I didn't realize they were doing those. They also had a jackpot for bingo going on, which was really cool, and all kinds of other little fun activities at the Hero Zone, the trivia, the youth activities, photos with Chewbacca or Spider-Man. So I thought this was really cool, and I wish I really would have been paying more attention to this, because it had even the movies that were going up on the large TV on deck 11 in front of the pools. They even showed you what movies were going to be showing at that time. So I really wish I would have explored the app a lot more when I was on board, instead of waiting until the last day to really look at it. I kind of put my phone down for most of the trip, but I do wish I would have looked at the app a little bit more in detail. They also had the dining and lounges, which I found really helpful, because they could show you the hours that certain things were open. Like for Marceline Market, that one was only open for a couple hours at a time. So it was nice to be able to check when those things were available. And then you could check which menu they had there. You were able to see what was on the menu so you could plan in advance. I have picky kids, so that was kind of nice to do. They also had spa and salon services and what exactly was going on with the hours at the youth clubs and the hours at the pools and the sports and recreation and all of that. So again, I would definitely check out the app and just make sure that you're sort of familiar with that so you can easily see hours and times and plan out your day a little bit better. We just kind of wandered around the ship and looked at what was available at the time. There was a lot going on, and I just kind of wish that we used the app a little bit more to our advantage to do some more of those character meet and greets and take advantage of some of those fun activities they had going on. So another new feature that I just discovered a day or two before I posted this review, which wasn't available to me when we were on the cruise, but you can go on to the Disney website for Disney Cruise Line. You can either do it on your browser on your phone or on your desktop computer, and then you're going to go to cruise details, go all the way down to the bottom of the page, way at the bottom there, and you're going to find something that says special requests. Click on that and you're going to be able to find specific things you can request ahead of time, like table requests, either at a private table, near a window, near a screen or stage for entertainment, and dietary preference, whether you needed any kind of kosher, low-fat, low-sodium, and celebrations and child amenities. So you can see all those things and you can go ahead and request those ahead of time. That's it for the Disney Wish. If it's your first Disney cruise, I would say you're going to be very delighted. If you've been on Disney cruises before, which we haven't, so we didn't have anything to compare to, but I did hear that there were some complaints about the elevator locations and how things were spread out or laid out on this ship. In my opinion, it was a beautiful ship, really well decorated. I didn't have any trouble finding my way around once I got used to it after the first day. So I enjoyed myself. I think my whole family enjoyed themselves. I highly recommend checking out the Disney Wish and going on a Disney cruise. No matter which ship you pick, I think it'll be amazing. If you like this video, please give that little thumbs up for me and subscribe to see more. And I hope you have a magical day. I'll talk to y'all next time.